Hi, Sophie Glenn again. We're talking more about the MIG welder. So I talked about the gas mixture a little bit in one of the previous videos. So just to reiterate, this is a argon and CO2 mix, so it's 75-25 respectively. And that's going to be your sort of general purpose welding mixture. Sometimes you'll encounter 100% CO2 or carbon dioxide. That's fine too. It doesn't work as nicely, in my opinion, as the argon CO2 mix, but it'll work just fine for most welding practices. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the regulator here, and just about turning on the gas tank in general. So when you're first starting to weld, you want to make sure that the gas is on. So if the gas isn't on, you're not going to get any welds. So, and that's usually one of the number one things that gets people when they're first welding, is not having the gas on. So what you want to do first is turn this on. So you open the tank rather, and you want to open this just one full turn. So it doesn't need to be opened up all the way, and you need to open it up just a little bit more than one full turn. All right, so just one full turn that way. All right, so now your tank is open, so now you need to set the regulators. So if I were to pull this lever all the way down, so the way you would do it, the way you would set the regulators, and just to talk about them a little bit, the meter on the left tells you how much gas is coming out at one time, and the one on the right tells you how much gas is left in the tank. So hopefully there'll be gas in your tank, so you want to make sure that that is reading something other than 0. So you're really focusing on the meter on the left here. And it's adjusted with this little lever here. So to adjust it, if I were to pull, you have to turn the machine on, make sure it's plugged in, and then if I were to pull the trigger here, you'll watch these needles come down. So get out of the way here. So you saw that the needles moved just a little bit. So right now the meter on the left is reading at 0. So to adjust that, I will push this lever up a little bit, or clockwise, and then to figure out where I'll pull the trigger just a little bit again, and I can adjust it accordingly. So where you want to see this, so we're reading the cubic feet per hour, or the black numbers here, and it's labeled on the bottom of the meter here. The red numbers are liters per minute, so you want to make sure that you're reading cubic feet per hour. So you want to go anywhere between 10 and 20 on here, so roughly 15 is good for setting this up. So that's where it is right about now. So it's at 16, but in the 15 range is good. Anywhere between 10 and 20 is really going to be ideal. So right there is pretty good. And I have gas in the tank left, so that's nice. Usually if that's reading at 0, it just means that the tank needs to be replaced, so you can have all fresh new gas. So at least this part of the tank is ready to go. Hi again. So one last thing before you're done for the day when you're welding. The last thing you want to do before we actually leave the shop entirely is to purge the line, or to bleed the line. And what that means is that we take any excess gas that's still existing in the MIG gun itself, or in the line of the MIG gun, and we want to make sure all the gas is out of it, and it's just a basic safety precaution. So to do that, we leave the machine on, and then we just turn the wire speed all the way down. So I'll go ahead and do that. So because we're purging the line, we're going to be using the trigger to actually do that. So you don't want to have all this excess wire sticking out. You could save that, and you could actually roll it back into the machine, but it's just as easy to just turn the wire speed down. So once we do that, what we do is we close the tank. So again, this should only be open one turn, but we just make sure that's nice and closed. And I'll just loosen this lever a bit, and then I will just pull the trigger until both these needles on the regulator hit 0. Okay, so that's good right there. Alright, so I only have a little bit of excess out, so I'll either just snip that off, or I'll roll it back into the machine, and then I'm good to go.